Hello, everyone. A very happy new year to you all. And I once again welcome you all to our series of success stories brought to you by Indian Achievers Forum. I'm your host, Varsha. So, in the list of prominent achievers of our country, today we have one more name with us, and that is Dr. Malini Ranganathan, who is the founder director of Indo French Bindi NGO. But before we get into knowing more about her, let's quickly have a look at a very small video telling you about what we actually do.
Indian Achievers Forum is driven by a full-fledged advisory board. The board consists of experienced personalities who have excelled in their respective careers. Together, the forum organizes conferences, events, workshops, exhibitions, trade shows and B2B initiatives in India as well as abroad. Where there is passion, there is achievement. And where there is achievement, there is Indian Achievers Forum.
So, Dr. Malini, first of all, we would like to know more about you and your professional achievements.
Namaste, hello, and bonjour from France. Thank you for having me here. I'm Dr. Malini Ranganathan, an Indian settled in France for the past 36 years, along with my husband, who's a medical doctor, and my 3 children. To talk about me, I think teaching has been my passion, and so I teach in the academic and the artistic domain. Let me explain to you. After having done my education in JG School of Arts in Mumbai, I moved to France where I obtained my doctorate in didactics of educational sciences in French from the European University, and I qualified as a research professor. I teach the MBA students at the International Business School in Nantes. On the artistic side, I am an internationally known and qualified Kathak dancer. I have been trained in the Jaipur Gharana from Padma Shri Guru Roshan Kumariji. And I'm being a South Indian, I think I'm a rare combination who also has been trained in Carnatic music by my mother, Srimati Leela Gopalan. I have performed for a long while under the aegis of the Embassy of India, Paris, and I've been recognized as a qualified Kathak professional, dance exponent, choreographer, and professor by the ICCR, Nartaki, SID, which is the International Council of Dance, and the UNESCO, as well as the Ministry of Culture, France and India. My passion for dance led me to found and establish my non-profit Indian Cultural Association, the Center of Indian Arts, named Bindi, in Nantes, where I have trained numerous French students and some non-resident Indians in Kathak dance and as well as Bollywood.
So, Dr. Manili, it's like facing challenges or obstacle obviously make a person stronger somehow, but still it takes a lot of courage for one to get out of their comfort zone and accept and get involved in a totally new place. So, what were the challenges that you have faced when you first moved to France?
Well, I think I must say that in life, if there are no challenges, achievements don't seem like achievements. The challenges are obstacles that we are supposed to, surpass and continue our life maybe differently at a tangent. However, I think challenges are almost part and parcel of a success story. So I would say basically what is really difficult, because when I moved to France, it was in the early 80s. things were very different. As you would know, first of all, I was moving to France where I was not in Paris, so I was in a smaller city where there were not many Indians or probably no Indians at all. French people were quite special, where they had their own cultural differences, the mentality, the food was different, the way of dressing up was different. So quite a bit of contrast in the early 80s, which we had to get used to when you go to another country. However, the most difficult, I think, would be to say that it was the language problem, because I was always used to communicating. I have always been chatty about many things on stage, as a dancer, as a teacher. So this frustration not to be able to communicate was very heavy on me. I can speak French, and French people did not speak much of English. So when I got my first job at the Conservatoire de Lyon, which is the dance, I would say, temple of dance in Lyon, I realized that the language was an issue and a problem for me to teach. However, students were very accommodative, learning my dance in English language. But I thought, this is a challenge for me. I should learn their language to be part and parcel of the whole system. So I learned it by myself, an autodidact. I picked up a dictionary and I said, well, I started with anatomy, can you imagine? Learning what is knee, feet, and it's little by little body language, and led me to learning French till doing my thesis in French and then teaching in French. So I think these are things that I think we could see the right side of the challenge. So language certainly was an issue. We did not have communication facilities like media, social media, Facebook, mobile phones, internet. All this was absolutely not available at that time. So connecting with other people and connecting with home, family, when you're young and alone, that is another issue. And finally, I would say what was probably a little handicapping at times would be that when you are a performing artist and when you have a full-time job as a professor, having 3 children to bring up in a new country, with my husband's job taking much of his time, he was rather busy. So these are some challenges which I can think about, but I don't think they stop me from going where I wanted to.
That's really very impressive, I must say. Okay, so out of so many challenges that you have just talked about, how did you actually land up to the idea of starting this non-profit NGO?
Well, as I told you before, I loved to communicate with people, and teaching, as I already told you, was in my mind all the time. As a child, I loved to teach whatever I could to other people to help and share. I'd like to go back to my school days, in fact, when I was a child, and apparently I used to pick up any kind of music and start composing a dance item, then share it and want to train my school friends, and we used to perform at the annual day function. So this, I think, goes back to my early school days, probably even nursery school. So I think that has grown up, and then I continued to train my dear friends from class all through my school days until my college days at JJ. When I then realized, of course, parallelly, I trained as a professional Kathak dance professor from Prayag University, Allahabad. Parallelly, I was a performing artist too, so I used to perform Kathak in many international platforms, and I used to enjoy, demonstrating the salient features of Kathak with Chakka, Tatka, Parhant, and Gadbab, etc. And it was very interesting when you perform, obviously, to the Indian audience who understand, and for Kathak, it is a collaborative performance when people from the audience participate with your performance with the tabalji. So it's an extraordinary exchange, and communication with it is at the optimal form. However, when I came to France, my first surprise was when in the 80s, Kathak was absolutely not known in France. So of course the French people have enormous taste and they enjoyed my performance because of its dexterity, the footwork, and all that was technical. However, they did not understand the nuances of lyrics or even the codified gestures. And little by little, I realized that I needed to explain every item in a very small, detailed way, initially in English and in French. So I realized that this time the communication was much better, and little by little my shows became really successful. So I realized the importance of training the audience to be able to appreciate and be with me, be part of me during the performance, especially for a Kathak dancer. So I think in that, with that idea in mind, I started the non-profit NGO association called Bindi, where initially it was to train my friends, my students in Kathak, but today it has really expanded. So we have become the International Center of Indian Arts in Nantes, and we have been recognized by the Embassy of India Paris, by the Ministry of Culture France, Ministry of Culture India, and the ICCR too, because we have been given extraordinary grants and also recognition to be the sole organizer for the famous festival in 2016, which was in Namaste, France. So I think the idea came basically for teaching Kathak and sharing my knowledge, my passion for the dance, and today it has become an extraordinary association. We started with very few students, and today it is a very big organization.
Okay, so moving ahead, how can you describe your social contribution?
Well, as I told you before, I faced several challenges when I came to France. As I told you, so I had to learn the language, I had to learn the culture, and I went through the process of integration and cultural transposition. So I decided to make it as a mission to help French students, whether it is on the artistic line or in the academic line, to facilitate their passage towards success and inculcate especially the Indian art and culture. So for the past 36 years, I have been promoting Indian dance and culture, Indian art as such, through different activities via Bindi, the Center of Indian Arts. So we, of course, the contribution for the society initially, I would say, is cultural, because we promote and we provide a showcase, a window to opening to the Indian arts and culture, especially our love for the incredible India. And we also do a lot of charity shows to make Indian art available to people or other associations who cannot afford to pay for performances. Basically for the cultural side, we organize workshop, lecture demonstration, Bollywood shows, sometimes weddings on the Bollywood style, Kathak performances for very exclusive population. And we also, I would say, in the cultural side, are in charge of many festivals, like I told you, Namaste France, and other local festivals that we participate, and we showcase Indian dance and music. It does not just end there. Bindi is also extremely prominent and I would say recognized by the Embassy of India, as I told you, Paris, also the International Council of Dance at UNESCO Paris. We are the official organizer for the Yoga Festival, which is very popular now in France, as well as other, we invite other artists who come from India through the ICCR, and we provide a platform. Similarly, we automatically, which is normal, we promote the Indian festivals to connect the French with Indian celebrations. So we organize Holi, Diwali, the Indian Independence Day, the Republic Day, and several others, for which we either invite artists, we provide platforms to other artists, or those who are coming from India, or those who are practicing Indian art and culture. So it is not just, It's no more just an institution where we learn dance. It's beyond all this. So this is the cultural aspect of Bindi and my work, and this provides a window to the social aspect, which I'm going to explain, which also, thanks to this coordination and such a beautiful organization that we have, that Indo-French connections have increased, improved, and we are also providing other services like maybe a workshop in Indian cuisine, or discovery of Indian tourism through photography, or connecting people with Indian mythology, where storytelling takes place for children. So there are different activities that we open up. We are always present when India has to appear. So that would be the social window. And to add up to it, I would say that as most of my students are women, we also provide Indian clothes to them, which is made by an association in India. So that would be probably the associative help that we provide. And these students, all my students, wear salwar kameez with dupatta, and they have the traditional Indian clothes, and they also love using saris and the Indian drapery, which is extraordinary because not to forget that France is the seat of fashion. On the I would say social side, we also have continued to open and leave our classes open during the very severe COVID pandemic times, where I think each one is confined to his or her home, and we continued. I created an online session, and I could manage to teach them the Kathak and Bollywood by using different kinds of methods of inculcating the dance and continuing our sadhana, because prayas and sadhana are absolutely the necessary when it concerns Indian traditional arts. After that, I would only say the last thing. I don't think I could belong to the Atmanirbhar program, but my service to India is that I am in Nantes, which is on the west coast on the Atlantic Ocean, and it's a small city, but there are many Indian students who come here to study. So from initially about 10 to 15, today we have some 400-500 Indian students who are present in Nantes. So often we organize along with Mindy some special events to make them feel comfortable. I invite students coming over home to provide Indian meal, and sometimes we do all the translations for their provided documents which are necessary for the administrative purposes. So my participation would be in that way, I think, via the association, quite useful for the Indians. And on the academic side, I would just lastly say that because I went through a whole lot of crisis and problems learning French, but I had studied at the Cambridge University. So as a qualified teacher, I trained French students who often are not comfortable in English. To give them confidence and give them the motivation to learn English and get through the IELTS exam so they can go international. And this is I think the exchange programs, the Indo-French collaboration, and we have just started for the past I would say 35 years. It's not over. We would like to go on and continue to provide the service and do the best we can.
Okay, so Dr. Malini, I know it's a very proud movement when one, get recognized for the kind of work they are doing. But still, we would love to know about your feelings on winning this Indian Achievers Award, and also if you can tell us about the previous awards that you have received.
Oh, that's a very good question. First, extremely happy. I sincerely thank the IIF jury to have selected me and given me this honor. I really do not know how to thank you, because as an Indian settled abroad, it is of great importance to be recognized by our own country and by a platform like yours. So I really sincerely thank you, and I will say with gratitude, and I humbly will continue this service that I have started before, and this is giving me more motivation and comfort to say that work that we're doing is actually being recognized. I really believe that it's very important to keep the Indian identity. So the being Indian at heart and becoming a global citizen go hand in hand, and this is when we have a balance between the cultural identity of a person, whether it is in France or any other countries. So I think honestly the awards and recognition for people who are so far away from home and coming directly from home country is of great importance, and this is extremely motivating and pushing us forward to continue to promote our cultural heritage and the legacy of Bharat. I also at the same moment would like to sincerely thank my family, friends, all staff members and administration from Bindi Center of Indian Art, the partners who have been always present, the Embassy of India, Paris, the Ministry of Culture, France, the Ministry of Culture, India, the CID UNESCO, who has stood by us always, and the City Council of Nantes, has always been there for us. So I think the Indian and the French partners have helped us, and I think if I have reached here and I have the honor of being conferred this award, I really feel like a global academic and cultural Indian ambassador to France. So I think I wouldn't have come here, I wouldn't have reached here without all these people helping me provide this platform and just continue to do my job. So I really thank you a lot for this wonderful award. In the 2019 January, when I was so surprised and honored to be the first lady from France to receive the Pravashi Bharatiya Samman, the most distinguished award that an NRI can receive from the President of India for dual domains, academic and arts, and for my outstanding service for the past 36 years. 2019 also, from the French side, I received the Medal of Excellence from the Ministry of Home from France and the city of Nantes for my extraordinary service provided in the domain of culture and creating Indo-French relationship. I would also talk about the recognition, the certificate of recognition that I got for my service done in the domain of dance by the International Council of Dance UNESCO, Paris. And in 2019, I would also finish by saying that I got the certificate of recognition from the British Council for my Cambridge University IELTS preparation exam. Well, 2020 has been also very interesting despite all our COVID pandemics. In the 22nd of December, I received the honor, the award of SAIWA, which is the South Indian Women Achievements Award. And I'm extremely happy receiving these awards. Of course, then I would finish by saying that the Global Achievers Award is really an extra feather in my cap, and I'm very proud and happy to be honored and represent India outside India, especially in France.
It's so amazing to know about your achievements, and I once again would like to congratulate you for that. Okay, so before concluding our lovely session, what message or piece of advice you would like to give to our today's generation for becoming successful in their professional path?
Oh yes, certainly, with pleasure. My message for the new generation is dual-folded. One is I would talk about the cultural identity. I think being open-minded culturally does not hinder one from keeping the intrinsic Indian cultural identity which is embedded in you. I think I keep telling that you have to be Indian at heart. Only then your attachment to your own culture would be recognized by the interlocutor who does not come from your culture. Allows us and provides us with an enormous possibility of insisting on who we are. And once you know your cultural identity and you're proud of your heritage, you're proud of the arts and handicrafts, you're proud of your country. I think this is our case because we have an extraordinary heritage, whether it is architecture, history, or arts and crafts, and of course languages, etc. So I think the most important thing I would say to younger people of this generation is it's good to learn new dance, music, and learn to open your mind and learn different arts. Most important thing is if you want recognition outside India, you have to be proud of your incredible India. So that is my first important advice, I would say. Once you know who you are and you like what your origins are about, then I think it's like layers. You learn different things, different cultures, but the crux of it, which is embedded in you, which is intrinsic value of your personality, which is your genetic self, will remain, and that will make you an enhanced person. So that is my first advice. The second one would be in relation with what I have gone through. Challenges always come, obstacles are there for you to fall and get up and not fall and remain fallen. So I think no obstacle should hinder. Nothing is really a difficulty. Where there's a will, there is a way. So I think if you want to reach your goals, I think nothing can stop, and you shouldn't be afraid of going ahead and learning new things. Learning new things obviously is going to open new windows, and that is the future. These are the two important things that I would tell the future generation.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Malini. It was pleasure talking to you.
I really thank you for providing me this platform to be able to share my experience and be very proud to be a Pravasi Bharatiya. I shall always be proud of my country, and I shall promote our culture, our heritage, and India's legacy to the future generation internationally. Thank you very much. Namaskar.